Happy Heritage Week. Between the pages, we delve into the country's rich legacy and honor our heroes. This is Jamaica Magazine, and I'm Adrian Atkinson. The show begins now.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, October 12. The government is seeking to expand its investment in the agriculture sector with the establishment of a multi-million US dollar organic high-tech greenhouse and integrated supply chain operation. Dubbed Land We Love Organic Greenhouse, this $95 million US dollar farm will be in Goshen, St. Elizabeth. The project is a joint venture equity investment. Minister with responsibility for agriculture and fisheries, Audley Shaw, says the certified farm will be the largest by far in the region. He was addressing the opening day of the virtual Caribbean AgTech Investment Summit 2021 recently.
The project will be undertaken on a 200-acre property over a 7-year period, will specialize in heritage and heirloom produce, TOV tomatoes, bell peppers, bush beans, garlic, strawberries, cucumbers, sweet corn, watermelon, and other assortments of fresh produce.
Meanwhile, the establishment of the state-of-the-art fully integrated supply chain operation will be at a cost of $6 million US. The aim is to deliver fresh fruits and vegetables to satisfy the domestic demand as well as the tourism sector. The joint venture equity investment involves the production, warehousing, cold storage, and multi-channel distribution of fresh produce in the domestic market.
JFVL's business model involves the engagement of contract farmers to farm a 600-acre property under the company's direct management. A feasibility study on the project is now completed.
A new vaccination registration system has been put in place for the elderly, shut-ins, and persons with disabilities. This will allow for health departments to identify persons who have special circumstances and may not be able to visit a vaccination site. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Bisesa McKenzie says persons may go online to register at moh.gov.jm/elder vaccination.
This online form is completed for each elderly disabled shut-in who is seeking to be vaccinated. The tool allows the person completing the form to indicate that the person being registered is in an institution or a private home. The Parish Health Department will review the geographic distribution of the registrants and make contact by telephone in order to confirm an authentic request and to schedule and undertake the visit to the home or institution for the vaccine intervention.
Meanwhile, the Chief Medical Officer says although the numbers are trending downward, the country's COVID-related hospitalization is still too high. As of October 10, the number stood at 419, of which 90 are moderately ill, 53 severely ill, and 30 in critical condition. There were 258 new cases over the 24-hour period and 25 deaths. Dr. Bisesa McKenzie says there is currently an increase in daily admission, with 8 hospitals now in the red alert zone for COVID isolation capacity.
This means that despite the trending down of hospitalizations, if the trend for admissions going up continues, then our bed occupancy will increase.
Dr. Bisesa McKenzie is encouraging persons to follow the safety protocols of sanitizing, wearing a mask, and physical distancing. She is also urging persons to protect themselves against the effects of COVID-19 by taking the vaccine.
As the Christmas season approaches, we want to ensure that there's a decrease in the need for hospitalizations for COVID-19. The vaccine will protect you against serious illness, hospitalizations, and deaths.
Government is aiming to have 1 million Jamaicans vaccinated by November 30. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the disclosure during a recent tour of vaccination blitz sites in north central Clarendon. To meet the target, Mr. Holness says the state will be partnering with private sector, churches, trade unions, and other stakeholders. The redoubling of efforts will also ensure that all vaccines are used before they expire.
I was not satisfied that we had to destroy 60,000 vaccines. I'm not here casting blame, but I'm saying that all persons should look into themselves, including those who didn't take the vaccines, and in a sense, reflect upon that and say, Jamaica's reputation internationally could have been impacted by this. And our ability to come out of the pandemic in quick fashion would also have been impacted.
The Senate has passed 2 bills that will give the right of appeal to the prosecution in criminal matters in the parish and Supreme Courts. The bills are the Judicature Appellate Jurisdiction Amendment Act 2021 and the Judicature Parish Courts Amendment Act 2021, which were passed without amendments. Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Kamina Johnson-Smith, who piloted the bill last Friday, says under the present law, the prosecution has no right of appeal against a verdict in criminal proceedings.
They will allow the prosecutor to refer an acquittal to the Court of Appeal for their opinion on any point of law or any point of mixed law and fact under the Judicature Appellate Jurisdiction Act. And they will amend the Criminal Administration Act to provide an exception to the rule against autrefois or the rule against double jeopardy, which would allow the prosecution, again with the consent of the DPP, to apply to the Court of Appeal to quash an acquittal and direct a retrial in limited circumstances.
Minister Johnson-Smith says the bill will also apply where a verdict of acquittal was incorrectly upheld by the trial judge. In addition, it will apply where the sentence was too lenient for the offence or where the court did not have the power to pass the sentence. The bills will also amend the Legal Aid Act to allow legal aid to be available to a respondent in any criminal appeal. And finally, the United Kingdom government has lifted its travel advisory against all non-essential travel to Jamaica. The update, which was issued by the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, removes the COVID-19 related restrictions against the country based on the current assessment of risks associated with the pandemic. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the announcement is a major boost for the island's tourism industry. He indicated that the Jamaican government is eagerly anticipating the welcoming of visitors from the UK to the country. The lifting of the ban by the UK government follows the announcement by the Foreign Affairs Ministry that Jamaica's COVID-19 vaccination card is now recognizable by British authorities. Previously, all residents traveling to the UK had to follow the 2-day and 8-day tests and a 10-day quarantine because the card was not accepted. However, fully vaccinated travelers to the UK will not be asked to quarantine but will be required to take a PCR test 2 days after arrival. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Without a doubt, tourism is Jamaica's #1 industry, and our dedicated workers are its greatest asset. Jamaica would not be the heartbeat of the world without you. As the industry rebounds from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, we truly need all hands on deck, yours included. Vaccination holds the hope for tourism's full recovery. In addition to COVID-19 protocols, it is the only comprehensive way to fight the pandemic and save lives. I am therefore urging every worker in the tourism and hospitality industry, in all the subsectors, including accommodation, attractions, entertainment, transportation and craft, to do your part and get vaccinated. Do it for yourself, your family, your workplace, and your community. Do it for Jamaica, land we love. Stay safe. Get vaccinated.
It's the 11th staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Students, show your national pride by entering the essay, poster and photo competition. Primary school students, enter the essay competition. Triumphant, proud and free. Use this phrase from the song Jamaica Land of Beauty to explain our nation's heritage and achievements. High school students, design a poster that best portrays the phrase triumphant, proud and free. And university students, capture a photo that depicts the phrase triumphant, proud and free. Submit your entries by October 31. Visit jis.gov.jm for competition guidelines. Triumphant, proud and free. The JIS Heritage Competition 2021.
The Dr. Bird or swallow-tail hummingbird is one of the most outstanding of the 320 species of hummingbirds. It lives only in Jamaica. Next, be captivated by the beauty of Jamaica's national bird.
Look, do you see it? Can you tell which bird this is?
There are over 300 species of hummingbirds in the world, and Jamaica has 4 types. Our national bird, the Dr. Bird, is one of those 4, and it's endemic to the island. That means it's only found right here in Jamaica.
According to sources at the Institute of Jamaica, in 1962, a committee was established to consider the recommendations for the national emblems of the country. It was at that level that the red-billed streamer-tail hummingbird, or Dr. Bird, was chosen to be Jamaica's national bird.
We actually have 2 species of streamer-tails. One is the red-billed streamer-tail, one is the black-billed streamer-tail. The red-billed streamer-tail and the black-billed streamer-tail is considered by some authorities as 2 separate species. Here in Jamaica, we still consider them to be 2 species.
The red-billed streamer-tail can be found across most of the island except the eastern tip, where you'll find the black-billed streamer-tail. Hummingbirds' nests are made from small leafy materials woven together with cobwebs. There are about 2 eggs per clutch or grouping, usually 1 male and 1 female.
Hummingbirds are actually sexually dimorphic. In other words, there are 2 different forms for male and females. The male is actually a lot more flashy.
Jamaicans call the red-billed streamer-tail the Dr. Bird because of the appearance of the male, with its black crest and 2 iconic tail feathers, resembling the top hat and coat tails of doctors in the past. The male Dr. Bird also has shimmering green feathers on the chest and back, and a bright red bill with a black tip. The female looks very different because she has a short tail, white chest feathers, and slightly green feathers on the back. The female's bill is also dark brown with red at the base.
You can actually find males without a tail, and there are several reasons for this. One, it could be a young male, right? Born earlier this year, for example, it's going to take a while before those tail feathers actually grow in. And sometimes you'll actually see some with very short tail, which means it's growing in. Another reason they might lack a tail is that they might have molted it. That is, they change their feathers. After the feathers get worn out, they actually drop them and a new set of feathers actually grows in. Sometimes you'll find a male with 1 tail feather. It lost it for one reason or the other. You know, it broke off. They could be fighting with each other and actually lost a tail feather. Hummingbirds, for their size, I mean, they're very tiny birds, but they're probably one of the most aggressive groups of birds in the entire world. The reason for this aggressive behavior is because of food scarcity. They have a group of flowers which they'll visit throughout the day because it takes some time for the nectar to replenish. Sometimes about half an hour, sometimes about an hour or longer. So what they do, they'll feed along a particular route, taking different flowers as they go along. And so once they finish feeding, they'll defend that area until it replenishes.
Hummingbirds flap their wings in a figure-8 motion, allowing them to change direction quickly as well as hover. But they are constantly burning so much energy that they must spend all day looking for food, only taking short rests in the shade.
Hummingbirds are considered nectar feeders, and there was a time when we believed these birds fed only on nectar from flowers. But in more recent times, we realized that they do actually take insects very occasionally, and we suspect it's really just to get some supplemental protein. In terms of the trees and the flowers that the hummingbirds feed on, I would like to highlight that the national tree, the blue maho, is actually one of the favorite flowers of the doctor bird.
You can spot the doctor bird at many of our public gardens across the island. For example, right here at the Blue and John Crow Mountains National Park, a United Nations educational, scientific and cultural organization, UNESCO World Heritage Site. Look at that color, shimmering emerald green, and those two long tails. Our national bird is certainly a sight to behold.
Cancer, stress, high blood pressure. Guard yourself against these potentially deadly conditions by eating healthy. Give your body long life with foods such as low-fat milk, dried and fresh peas and beans, unsalted nuts and seeds, fresh vegetables, fruits and coconut water, and eliminate processed seasonings such as seasoning salt, soy sauces and ketchup. When it comes to meats, remember to remove the skin to reduce the intake of fats and oils. Meats should also be baked, steamed, grilled or roasted. Fish is also a preferred protein option. To eat healthy, fill your body with a variety of foods from all the food groups. And remember, eat at a slow pace and in small bites to help aid digestion. This helps to maintain a healthy, balanced and nutritious diet, strengthening your body to ward off illness and prolong life.
Next, we journey to St. James to revisit the life of Daddy Sharpe. Watch this.
Think on this. How would you feel if Sunday is your regular rest day off from work, but just because Christmas Day falls on that day, your boss unilaterally decides you do not deserve an extra day of rest? Added to that, the previous Christmas you were entitled to 3 days off during the season, but months before this particular holiday, a law was passed giving only 2 days. This is the kind of injustice and ill treatment that was meted out to Sam Sharpe. Up to 1830, the enslaved were allowed 3 days holiday at Christmas. In February 1831, the House of Assembly passed a law reducing Christmas holidays from 3 to 2, Christmas and Boxing Day only. Since Christmas Day 1831 fell on Sunday, a rest day, Sharpe believed that they were entitled to the following Tuesday. A strike ensued. The resistance to work ballooned into what history records as the Christmas Rebellion, the ill-fated event that helped pave the way to freedom. Born about 1780, Sam Sharpe was the slave of an English lawyer in Montego Bay, St. James. Sharpe was the lay deacon of the Birchell Baptist Church and became a leader in the congregation. Sam, Daddy Sharpe, saw the injustices of slavery and inspired his fellow brothers and sisters to participate in Jamaica's first strike action. There were no labor laws at that time that spoke to the rights or privileges of slaves. Sharpe may be considered a forerunner to the labor movement as he fought for the rights of his fellow workers. For this, Samuel Sharpe was hanged on May 23, 1832. But as he said,
"I would rather die upon yonder gallows than live in slavery."
In 1834, the Abolition Bill was passed by the British Parliament, and in 1838, slavery was abolished.
We are in a race against time, to reverse the effects of climate change by one simple action which has positive and enduring effects. That's right, plant a tree, leave a lasting legacy. Join the My Tree Legacy promotion by planting a tree at your alma mater and share your work with us. Submit videos and pictures of you, your family, your friends, and colleagues planting trees. Every tree counts. Plant a tree today and keep climate change away.
As a Jamaican, whether here at home or in the diaspora, one staple event positioned as a linchpin of our nation's heritage that most never miss is our annual ceremony of investiture and the presentation of national honors and awards. And rightly so, as many Jamaicans who have made significant contributions to the nation's development are publicly recognized through this event.
I made a promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity.
And in standing up for justice, his recompense before all the nation is sure, as through this year's ceremony, Deputy Commissioner of Police DCP Fitz Bailey will be decorated with the Order of Distinction in the rank of officer class. Behind this nomination is a lengthy script that the Deputy Commissioner started writing some 30 years ago. A journey of ambition, bravery, commitment, and dedication to help Jamaica play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race.
So I joined the JCF in 1984, having left high school, having left Margaret High to Prospect. I was exposed to what I consider to be some form of semi-military. It's a cadet institution where every student is considered to be a cadet. So having gotten that training, I opted to join the JCF. My first assignment was at the Beat and Foot Patrol Division. It was like a division that they call us the Plaza Police. We used to work at the various plazas like Tropical Plazas, Twin Gate Plaza. We worked downtown, King Street, within the area where the vendors are. So I spent just about a year there. I moved from Beat and Foot to Mobile Reserve, where I did the operational policing. That was an excellent opportunity for me. My own protection and survival as a police officer, and how do I maneuver in certain circumstances, was enhanced by my going to Mobile Reserve there at that time. So I spent 3 years there, and then there was a shift in terms of my policing. I moved on to the fraud squad. So I went as a constable at fraud squad, went through the ranks: constable, acting corporal, corporal, sergeant, inspector, deputy superintendent, and superintendent. And I became the head of fraud squad. I don't think any criminal should outwit me. So that's where my passion really lied as a police. I just love, it's very complex, those investigations, very complex, very time consuming. You have to be able to identify, small things for details. You have to have that knack for detail. When the fraud squad submerged into OCID, I became the head of organized crime. So technically, I spent another 4 years.
But there was far more impact to be made. So in 2012, an exuberant Bailey was transferred to St. Andrew Central to now test his wits at geographic policing for the first time in his career. Murder rates went down from 12 to 10 to 8 and then to 2, a significant feat under his leadership. That stint was a success, but his adaptability propelled him to higher heights: Air 4 headquarters for about 3 months, then a transfer to Clarendon for a little over a year, and then on to Air 2 headquarters as the Assistant Commissioner of Police, where he spent 9 months.
And then I returned to CETA, Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime, where I spent just about a year. And then I was given the portfolio responsibility for crime that I've been at since about 2018. I think it was February 2018 I came here and acting until I got promoted, and I still maintain this portfolio.
But what does he believe is the greatest tool that allowed for his many transitions and success at the JCF?
Joining the JCF, I see myself not as a master, but I see myself as a servant. If you see yourself as Lord and masters, then you're going to find the way you execute your duty is going to be a little abusive and excessive. So if we understand the concept of servanthood, that's how I do my policing. I am a servant of the public. If you're going to be an effective leader, be it a police or not, if you don't go to the table with credibility, you have to be a credible leader. And you have to be somebody who can be trusted.
We'll also see several Jamaicans getting the Order of Distinction. This is really an honor to be able to recognize Jamaicans who have done so much for the country.
And the DCP Bailey's reward will carry the motto, distinction through service.
I'm really humbled and grateful for this consideration. I think my only regret is that both of my parents, my mother and father, they are not alive to see it. I accept it with the highest level of humility. To be considered from so many people, I am really grateful, and I will accept it, and I will ensure that I continue to maintain the dignity and honor of the JCF and continue to be an upstanding citizen, not only in terms of my service as a police officer, but I also serve within the church. I offer voluntary service at the highest level within the Christian church organization. I'm a minister of religion too, and I'm a marriage officer. So I will continue to do that service.
For Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey, it's the JCF or nothing. There are no other options really.
For me, if I were to relive my life, it would be JCF again. And if I can serve an organization like this in the afterlife, it would be JCF. It has been a pleasure, it has been an honor, it has been a privilege. There were lows, but the better days are greater than the lower days. There were some lonely moments, but it was worth it.
You've reached the final page of the magazine. Thanks so much for being with us on today's journey. Another Jamaica Magazine unfolds tomorrow, so come back same time on this same station. Until then, click on our social media pages for more informative features. While there, please subscribe to our pages and channels so you can stay in the know. I'm Adrian Atkinson, reminding you to adhere to the COVID-19 protocols to reduce the spread of the virus, and do stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.